Did you know that millions of dollars in unclaimed property are literally just waiting for their rightful owners in Maine? Seriously, what if some of it actually belongs to you? Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going on a digital treasure hunt. We're going to take a highly focused, step-by-step look at how to claim your unclaimed property in the great state of Maine. And the best part, we're doing it entirely online.
I really want you to take a good look at this number. $382,433,929. That is the exact amount of unclaimed property currently sitting in the custody of the Maine State Treasurer. It's a massive, almost unbelievable figure, right? We are definitely not talking about spare change lost in the couch cushions here. We're talking about potentially life-changing amounts of money just waiting to be recovered. Which brings us to the ultimate question of the day. Does some of this belong to you, your business, or maybe your family? Millions of dollars go unclaimed by Maine residents every single year. So let's dive right into this and find out exactly how you can check if you're owed a piece of this massive pie. And more importantly, how you can actually get it back into your bank account. Here is our roadmap for today's Explainer. Number 1, the $382 million question. Number 2, what is unclaimed property? 3, step-by-step search guide. 4, proving you own it. 5, tips, tricks, and scams. And finally, 6, claim your treasure today. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the $382 million question. Namely, who's actually holding all this money? The answer lies with the Maine office of the state treasurer. Under state law, this office acts as a perpetual custodian for abandoned properties. Basically, national and local businesses, which are legally referred to as holders, are required to surrender these lost assets to the state. This legal framework is actually brilliant because it protects your consumer property rights. It specifically stops corporations and banks from simply absorbing your lost funds as corporate income. Instead, it creates a safe, centralized, state-supervised vault where you can locate your lost assets totally for free. Moving right along to Section 2, what is unclaimed property? Let's quickly define what we're talking about here. Unclaimed property refers to financial assets, or sometimes even physical items, that get turned over to the state after a specific period of owner inactivity. This time frame is what's known as a dormancy period. So for example, say you have a checking or savings account that you just completely forget about, and you don't interact with the bank for 3 years. Well, that account hits its dormancy threshold. By law, the bank can't just keep your money. They are legally required to hand it over to the state treasurer. And it's not just old checking accounts. The scope of reportable property is honestly huge. We're talking uncashed payroll checks, forgotten vendor or refund checks, dividends, securities, and life insurance proceeds. It even includes physical items left behind in abandoned safe deposit boxes. In fact, to manage all those physical valuables, the Maine State Treasurer actually conducts bi-weekly online auctions where things like rings, watches, rare coins, and paper currency are liquidated, and then that cash value is just held in the original owner's name. Okay, Section 3, step-by-step search guide. Let's see how you actually go about finding your name. The primary tool for this is the official digital portal managed by the State Treasurer. You'll want to start by visiting maineunclaimedproperty.gov. The system is designed to be incredibly user-friendly. You just run a search by inputting your last name or your business's legal name, and then you add your first name to narrow down the results. It's a completely open, searchable database. Interestingly enough, state legislators and town officials can even request localized lists of these names for their specific districts to put on public display. Now, when you're searching, it really helps to understand how the algorithm works. The system parses your name based on exactly how the holding company originally reported it. So if you have a compound name or one with punctuation, you've got to be a bit strategic. For example, the system treats McDermott as one word entirely differently than it treats McDermott with a space. The same goes for names like O'Brien or St. Pierre. You really should try searching multiple variations, with spaces, without spaces, and with hyphens, just to make sure you aren't missing a match. First names have their own quirks too. The search engine is smart enough to use expansion matching, which basically means it maps common nicknames to their formal equivalents. So if your name is Michael, searching Mike will still pull up Michael, and searching Bob will pull up Robert. However, if your name has a unique spelling variation, like Candace spelled with an I versus Candace spelled with an A, the system won't automatically link those. You absolutely have to search those unique spellings separately. Here is an awesome insider hack straight from the state's helpful hints. Drop your middle initial. Using a middle initial can actually restrict the system's matching logic and filter out completely valid results if the original company didn't happen to report your middle initial in the first place. The only exception here is if you routinely used your middle name in place of your first name. In that case, definitely search it. But otherwise, just keep it simple.
All right, Section 4, proving you own it. Let's talk about identity verification.
So, the crucial point here is that the state treasurer enforces rigorous documentation standards before releasing a single dime. This is absolutely necessary to prevent fraud. To satisfy the state's audit requirements, you'll typically need to upload documents to their secure portal that cover the 3 pillars of identity verification. First, a valid government-issued photo ID. Second, proof of your social security number or tax ID. And third, and honestly, this is often the trickiest one, proof connecting you to the original address or the specific asset listed in the claim. If you've moved over the years, you might have to dig up an old W-2 or tax record to prove you actually used to live at the address associated with those lost funds.
This brilliantly illustrates that the state is prepared for complex real-life scenarios. If you're claiming property for someone who has passed away or for a business, they have a whole suite of specialized forms ready to go. If you are the heir to a small estate, there's a specific affidavit to help bypass formal court probate. There are affidavits for surviving joint owners, for corporate officers claiming on behalf of dissolved businesses, and for court-appointed personal representatives. Basically, every complex family or business situation has a highly structured path to resolution.
Now, while almost all of this process is beautifully digitized, there is one major exception you need to be aware of. If you are claiming physical financial instruments, things like original stock certificates, legacy bank passbooks, paper bonds, or uncashed cashier's checks, you cannot just snap a picture and upload it. The state reserves the right to demand the physical submission of these original documents. So those must be sent the old-fashioned way, physically mailed directly to the office of the state treasurer in Augusta, Maine.
Let's move on to Section 5, tips, tricks, and scams. This is all about protecting your claim.
I really want to draw your attention to this direct quote from our source materials regarding third-party companies known as finder firms. Finder firms, in general, are a scam. You have paid for something that is free. You might get a postcard or an email from a company claiming they've located your inheritance or some lost assets, offering to help you claim it for a percentage fee. Do not send them a check. All they're doing is checking the exact same free public database we just talked about. As we've just learned, it is incredibly easy to do this research yourself for absolutely zero cost. Please let this fact reassure you. The state of Maine holds your property forever. There is no time limit, there's no ticking clock, and there is absolutely no fee to claim your assets from the state. The state is merely a perpetual custodian. So you haven't missed your window, and you definitely do not need to pay a third party to act fast on your behalf. Finally, Section 6. Claim your treasure today. It's time to take action. We've covered the staggering $382 million currently sitting in state custody, how to perfectly navigate the search system to find your name, and exactly what documentation you'll need. I highly encourage you to set a recurring annual reminder on your calendar to check maineunclaimedproperty.gov for yourself, your business, and your relatives. A quick final note. The information in this explainer is accurate based on the provided sources as of August 26, 2026. Please make sure to verify all procedures independently via official Maine State Treasurer resources before you submit any documents. Thank you so much for joining me on this digital treasure hunt today. Now, it's your turn to search. And hey, if you strike gold, what will you do with your recovered treasure?